Okay, sorry. When we look at investment, guys, now we're looking at our uh, two sector model completely, because so far we were saying only C. Now we add I to the picture as well. So when we look at investment here, investment basically includes all the acquisition of capital goods designed to provide us with consumer goods and services in the future. Somebody was asking me, will the buying stocks, buying shares of a company, is that an investment? And the answer is no, it's not an investment. Investment basically means, from our definition, buying capital goods to increase more consumer goods in the future. Who does this expenditure? The firms do this expenditure. Okay, so remember this, that it's the firms who do this expenditure, and they're doing it to buy goods and services. They're buying goods, capital goods, which are helping them produce, which is helping us produce more goods and services in the future. Okay, are we all good? So do we get the definition of investment? Okay, so moving on, guys. When you look at C, now I have what we call A is equal to C plus I, right? Now we are going to build this up now, because we call this a closed economy with no government. Why do we call it a closed economy? Because still there is no X minus M, and also there is no G here. So that's why it's called closed economy with no government. Okay. Now, in this analysis so far, we assume investment is autonomous. What do we mean by autonomous? That is, it is uh, an expenditure on goods that is independent of level of national income. I want to explain this concept. So, when you look at any firm's planned investment, what they plan to do, if I look at planned investment versus if I look at the income of the economy, okay, my diagram would look like this. So, irrespective of whatever the income is, our investment, for example, level is 500. Okay, even if your GDP is going up, my investment level is 500. And if the firms, let's say, decide to invest more, right? What does that mean if the firms decide to invest more? And the answer is, if the firms decide to invest more, the number will go from, let's say, 500 to, for example, 1000. For all level of income, my investment level will go up. This kind of a flat expenditure, which is not dependent on income, is called autonomous. Autonomous means even though the income may change, it's not dependent on income. So investment is autonomous investment. Okay. What's the other autonomous thing that we saw previously? A. Now, this is another addition to A. Irrespective of income, firms are deciding a particular level of income, particular level of investment. And guys, think of this way: your investment may happen today. Let's say in January I decide that this is what I'm going to invest in Cedar, right? For the next year, the commitment to investment is done, and my income may go up, but I've invested, for example, a particular amount like 500. I may change it, but when I change it, it may change for all levels of income. Got it? So we believe investment is basically an autonomous expenditure, just like C is equal to A plus BY has an A component, which was autonomous. This is what also is assumed to be autonomous. So in Keynesian model, because I'm going to look at another model. So in Keynesian model, we assume, so Keynesian model assume that I is autonomous. Autonomous means independent and not induced. Induced means dependent on income, more investment is not happening. Okay. No matter what your income is, investment is flat. It doesn't change. The amount does not change. Are we good? Are we going to move on? Yeah. So with this model, guys, I'm going to show you now. Let's assume in my notes I've assumed I to be 250. So now my model is going to change, because previously Now I want you guys to draw it with me. Previously, AE was C and C was 100 plus 0.8y. Now I'm assuming what if I was equal to 250? So now my AE would become C plus I, right? Where now it's going to be 100 plus 0.8y plus 250, right? Let's call this AE. This was AE alone. Now my AE is going to be C plus I, which means 350 plus 0.8y. Are you all with me? Let's call this AE1. Okay, and let's call this AE naught. Because it's going to change a lot of things for us, and I'm going to talk about this, that suddenly, guys, something has happened. Previously, your uh, injection was not there. Now your injection is equal to I, and your withdrawal is equal to S. And the saving equation, remember, is minus 100 plus 0.2y. So I have one injection and I have one withdrawal also happening. So this is for us, this is the completion of a two-sector model which has A is equal to C plus I. So that's why this is called our two-sector model, right? And that has AE is equal to C plus I, and that also has um, a saving component and so on. Okay, are you all with me? Does that make sense? Any questions? So I'm going to now show this in the diagram, because what's the condition for equilibrium, guys? What are the conditions for equilibrium? Come on, what's the condition for equilibrium? W is equal to J, shabash, and AE equals to Y. And I'm going to use both of these to make our diagrams, okay? W is equal to J and AE is equal to Y. What's your name, sorry? Shayan. Good job, Shayan. Make sense, guys? So let's see this diagram and let's draw these diagrams one on top of the other, okay? So that we can see this, and I'm going to go back to the numbers also. So, and I want everyone to draw it with me. So the top diagram versus the bottom diagram. So this is my AE diagram, and this is what I'll call this W comma J diagram. Withdrawals and injection diagram. And the first step when you make any diagram is make your Y is equal to AE line. Okay? So these are the things that you will always be drawing, Y equals to AE. Are we good to move on? Yeah. Now, first thing first, guys. This is my current AE, my AE naught, which is 100 plus 0.8y. Isn't that true? Yesterday we made that was breaking even at 500. And that 500 point, guys, our saving was 0. Good job. Saving was like this. Saving was minus 100 plus 0.2y, which is, by the way, my only withdrawal. I'm going to write W here as well. Make sense, guys? Why did I write W? Because that's my only withdrawal right now. Now, my AE went up. How much did it go up by? By 250. It became 350 plus. So I'm going to make another line AE. My AE now going to be 350 plus 0.8y. And new equilibrium is happening at, this is y naught at y1, which is equal to what? So let's find out the new equilibrium, guys. How do I find out the new equilibrium? And the answer is at this point, let's call this point x, let's call this point y. So at y, AE 1 is equal to y. And y is equal, what's the equation for AE1? 350 plus 0.8y. Do you guys get that? I just replaced 350 plus 0.8y to this AE because at equilibrium y must be equal to AE. So kya bana? What will this be now? Y minus 0.8y is equal to 350, or 0.2y is equal to 350, or y is equal to 1750. Good job. 1750. I'm going to write 1750 here. And I'm going to take this down. And I'm going to write 1750 here. Okay. You guys get the equilibrium. This is a very popular MCQ also. They may give you, they may say, if, the funny thing is, guys, can I have 1 minute of attention from everyone? Look at what is happening. Funny thing is, this is, how much is the jump of AE? How much is this jump? What's the gap? 250. 250. Isn't that true? Huh? Oh, sorry. This is 350. Yeah. So how much is the jump? 250. Isn't that true? But how much is the jump in Y? What's the change in Y? 1250. Do you guys see this magic that, like you put in 250, but you got 1250 of income? Isn't that so? We'll talk about that in a little while. Why is this that you only invested 250 more in this economy, but GDP went up by how many times the GDP went up? 5 times. Why is the GDP going up by 5 times? It's something we're going to look at. It's called the multiplier effect. You might have heard about multiplier effect, but this is what we call a multiplier effect is happening. That once you put $1, apparently you get $5 in return in terms of GDP going up, which is good news for us. Now, in lower diagram, guys, remember I wrote this is a diagram for W, and J. So I made my W. What's the value of my J? 250. If I make 250 here, and I'm going to show you this, guys. This is my investment of 250, which is my only J. So I'm saying this at 1750, where, and I'm going to zoom this, guys, for people also, it's hard to read. At 250, at the point where J is equal to W, you also get 1750. I'm saying because our equation was Y must equal to AE and W must equal to J. The answer should be the same. Let's see why. Because look at this. W must equal to J, and W equation is minus 100 plus 0.2y. Isn't that true? And J equation is 250. J was the investment and W was the saving. Saving must equal investment in equilibrium in 2-sector model, because that's only 2 things that are happening here, which means 0.2y will be equal to 350 and y must be equal to, because I brought that there, 1750. So remember this, guys, whatever your answer is here should match it here as well. So in a 2-sector model, we introduce investment. AE, change in AE was 250, but change in GDP turned out to be more. We will talk about this in a little while. But what we also learned is that when you introduce investment, your model, 2-sector model got completed. Because saving was the withdrawal, which was minus 100 plus 0.2y, and injection was investment, which is equal to 250. So 250 is equal to minus 100 plus 0.2y, you get 1750, which means you've done it right. Make sense? Any questions? Any questions, guys? So first thing first is we want to talk about why is GDP increasing by more than an increase in your income, which is what we call the multiplier effect, which is what I'm going to talk about in 1 minute. Secondly, we can look at some of the questions of how it gets tested so that we have a fair idea of how things will be. Okay, are we going to move on? Aage badhe? Yeah. So I made this diagram for you guys just in case. We saw how investment went up by 250, the GDP went up by 1250, which is 5-time increase, and the same thing is happening in withdrawals and injection. Minus 100 plus 0.2y is equal to 250 will give you 1750 answer. Okay, so just remember from the notes, we just done this, right? Now we want to talk about the multiplier effect. So guys, what is a multiplier effect? So first of all, if you want to find out multiplier, the formula for multiplier is basically, we say multiplier is change in Y over change in AE. Okay, what was my change in Y? 1250. What's my change in AE? 250. So 1250 over 250, right now my multiplier is 5. Why is it that the GDP is increasing by 5 times? And I want to show this from a very simple concept of the withdrawals and injection. If I ask you guys, what is my MPC right now? What's my MPC in my example? 0.8. Good job. What is my MPS? 0.2. So can I ask you guys, if I give you $1, how much do you end up consuming? If I give you $1, how much do you end up consuming? 0.8, and 0.2 will be saved. If I give you $100, how much will you consume? 80, and you save 20. Let's say I give you, sorry, I forgot your name. Ali Abbas, I gave Ali Abbas $100. He consumed 80 on this guy's goods, but he saved 20. Okay, now the economy will have, what's your name? Now Hassan will now have $80 to spend. Let's say Hassan also has an MPC of 0.8. 80 times 0.8 is how much? 64. He will spend 64, but he will save 16. 64. So one single round of money went from this guy to this guy. Now he spent 64 on, what's your name? Shayan's goods. 64 times 0.8 is 51.2. So he gave him 64. He spent 64 on, what's your name? Hiba's goods. She got 51.2. How much did you use? 12.8 is saved. 12.8 is saved. And then Hiba is going to give the money to Shiza, 51.2 times 0.8. But look at this, guys. One single 100 is going from 100 plus 80, because expenditure once plus 80 plus 64 plus 51.2 plus 51.2 times 0.8 and blah blah blah. This process, if you keep on adding, you will find the GDP, because every time I gave him 100, he generated an income for this guy of 80, who generated 64 income for the other guy, who generated another income of 51.2, and so on and so forth. In other words, if I see this in terms of a diagram, so let's make this. If I have a firm and household, so household may give firm $100 in expenditure. Okay, I'm going to call this $100 in expenditure, which give firm back $100 in, for example, income. With this $100 of income, 20 is saved in round 1, which then go back in terms of expenditure of 80. And then 80 would mean firm will give you back 80, so the income will be 100 plus 80. But then the saving will be 16, because every time you get money, you save 80% of that. Make sense? And now they will be, use another color, 64 given to the firm, which means 64 will come in income, and that would mean 51.2, 12.8 is saved. Got it? Which means 51.2 will be given to firm, which will then give you 51.2. I'm going to stop here because you guys are getting the point. But the idea is this: if I add 100 plus 80 plus 64 plus 51.2 plus dot dot dot, this will end up going to be equal to 500. Okay. Why am I saying this? Not 500, because right now it's 500, because 100 times 5 is what I'm saying, 500. Why am I saying 500 with so much confidence? Because I know the formula for multiplier. And the reason why the formula for multiplier, I'm going to talk about this in 1 minute, but you guys get the idea. And that's why too much withdrawal is bad news for us. Because if too much withdrawal is happening, the economy will be very slow. Because let's say if I give him 100, and let's say MPC was like, let's say 0.1, and MPS is 0.9. If I give him 100, how much will he save? 90. How much will he give this guy? 10. Of which 9 is saved, he will give him 1. Of which, you know what I mean? The economy will be very slow. So the larger the MPC, the more consumption would happen, and therefore you should have a bigger value multiplier. So what's the formula for multiplier? Let's write this. Multiplier formula is, you guys get the idea? So multiplier formula is 1 over 1 minus MPC, or in other words, 1 over MPS. What is 1 over, what is the MPS value? 0.2. 1 over 0.2 is equal to 5. You guys get that? So this is the formula for multiplier. Now look at a very interesting sort of state to look at. What if my MPS was 0? If my MPS is 0, what is 1 over 0? 1 over 0 is infinity. Don't use the calculator, guys. I'm telling you. 1 over 0 means undefined infinity, which means I gave him 100, he gave him 100. He gave him, he had 100, he'll give, the 100 will go to this guy. The 100 will keep on rotating. There is no withdrawal whatsoever. The 100 will make multiple sort of infinite amount of money. Make sense? If MPS is 0, multiplier will be infinity because there is no withdrawal whatsoever. But what if MPS is 1? 1 over 1 is? 1 over 1 is 1. I give you 100. You saved everything. You didn't give it to him. He's like, Bhaijan, kuch to de, please give me something. Well, no, thank you very much. I have saved everything. What will be the change in GDP? 100 only. Right? So in other words, another formula we need to write, change in Y is equal to change in AE times multiplier. It's the same thing that I wrote earlier. But for example, if somebody says, and this is a popular MCQ question, somebody says change in AE is only 100 times 5, because you know the multiplier is your 5, will be your change in Y. So your change in Y will be 500. Got it? Now guys, let's go back to a discussion we had. Rich countries versus poor countries. Poor countries has a very high MPC. That's why small expenditure will make GDP grow too much, because multiplier will be big. Isn't that true? Poor countries, very high MPS, low MPC, which means expenditure would only make GDP grow up to a certain extent. Make sense? If your economy is poor and is going through a recession, you want GDP to go up, small expenditure will make the economy go up, because people are poor, they will consume everything. So their saving will be little. But if your country is a rich country, you might not need a bigger stimulus package. You need a bigger amount to save the economy because the multiplier is not that big. Multiplier is dependent on your MPS and MPC. The larger the, let's write this is an important point to remember. The larger the MPC, the larger the multiplier. And vice versa, the larger the MPC, the smaller the MPS, and therefore the larger the multiplier. You know, like that kind of a thing. Do you guys get that? Does that make sense? Yeah. Are we good? Make sense? Now, in terms of pages, guys, we did this multiplier page. I showed you how an increase in 100 has changed the income, and we did the formula. And tomorrow, not on Monday, we look at a very important, very important essay question. Okay, so this is like a star. This is a very important essay question. What are the factors? So there's a question that comes. What are the factors that affect investment, which is this, and how a rise in investment will affect GDP? How a rise in investment will affect GDP? We've just did that through the multiplier effect. So we'll write that also. We'll discuss that answer. But this is a very popular exam question. So I really want everyone to, on Monday when we do this, prepare that also for as an essay for exam. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. God bless you guys.